Alright. Welcome to number how do I do this? Number 6? That's a 5 and it's 1. Number 6. Wow. Um I gotta say, I really wasn't expecting that many people to see these videos. Thank you guys. I don't know, I'm a little awkward about this. But sorry, my bad. I'm being weird. Um, yeah. I wasn't expecting people to really watch these videos much at all. But you know, it's nice to be able to share sort of my journey, my thoughts with people. Something I struggled with a lot is like something I struggle with a lot for some reason is I struggle to open up to my friends about the thoughts and the feelings that I have, right? But it's kind of funny because whenever I'm talking to myself out loud, like even when whether it be like a camera or it be like a post on social media or I don't know, I guess like my diaries and stuff like that, it just it feels so much easier. I don't know if natural is the right word. I don't know if it's natural really for me to sit in front of a freaking camera and be like, here are my feelings, and then I post it on YouTube so I could watch it later and be like, oh, look at that loser, she had so many feelings, haha. But I was surprised by the amount of support I got, and I really appreciate everybody. Thank you guys. You know, part of the reason why I have, you know, my art page and other social media stuff was due to the fact that, like, I like sharing my journey, whether that be my art journey, or whether that be the thoughts journey. But I've always struggled a little bit with opening up to my friends. Not to say that, you know, my friends are bad or anything like that. I think I have some genuinely wonderful friends and I really appreciate them. But maybe because of my upbringing, I have a tendency to try to read between the lines a lot because that was something I had to do a lot growing up. And I think it makes it hard for me to determine whether or not I'm really bothering someone or not because, you know, sometimes it's like you'd open up about something and then it'd be like, oh, well, you shouldn't have talked about this, and it's like, maybe I shouldn't have talked about it, but I did. And you know, I feel like a lot of people also, you know, if they don't want to listen to something, sometimes they'll just be cordial and, you know, listen to you anyway, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but in my little pea-sized brain, I'm like, oh, I don't want to bother anybody with any of that. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of my friends would tell me that I'm not a bother, and you know, I think that they do really believe that, but sometimes it's hard, you know? It's just human feelings are weird, and so it's hard. Even though I know why, like, I feel this way sometimes, it's hard to just be like, well, screw it, we ball. I'm gonna talk about my feelings because getting close to people is scary, you know? I think everybody relates to that to an extent, right? Like, even extroverts, like, you can have a lot of friends, but getting close to people is difficult. My nose is so itchy. Bleh. But, yeah. Picked this world because it was pretty and it had the Milky Way, and I really like stars. Here, let me see if I can. Ta-da! Look at all that, all these stars and stuff. How do I see? Whatever. We're gonna have to deal with it. You know, the first time I saw Milky Way in real life was when I was on a cruise when I was younger. This is now that I'm thinking about it, it's like my last like full family trip with my parents and my brothers. been a lot of complications that made it very difficult for us to all get together since then. That was when I was in like elementary school. Now that I'm thinking about it, we went on a week-long cruise, and if you've ever been on a boat before, like it rocks a lot, it's shaky, and you get seasick, and it's icky, it's bad. But I left our room in the middle of the night because I wanted to go get some fresh air, and going to the docks is not really a good idea because like if you think about it, like ships wave like this, right? So like technically the lowest part is the part that moves the least, but I was like, I need some fresh air, and so I went up and I was on the top where it was shaking, and it felt terrible. Let me tell you, it was awful. I don't really like boats, but it was fun. It was really nice. But yeah, when I went up on the deck of the ship, felt terrible. But like when I looked up in the sky, I had a Milky Way spread around across the sky. And ever since then, I've always been kind of fond of stars. I had a phase when I was a kid where I would just research a bunch of stuff. I'd be like, oh my god, what's a supernova? What's a freaking black hole? Like, what are all this stuff? And I wanted to be an astronomer at one point. But I became an engineer. Man, I feel like I had a topic I wanted to talk about, but I ended up yammering a lot instead, but that's okay. I mean, that's sort of the point of these talks, is to just talk about stuff and talk about my thoughts and my feelings and random things that happened throughout the week, and put it all in a video so I could look back on it and also share my little stupid journey with you guys. Oh, I guess was it the last video or the video before? I mentioned that I started antidepressants, and I recently got a upped dosage, and it's made me really hungry. I'm really hungry all the time, man, and it kind of sucks because like I try not to eat a lot because in this economy, no, that's not true. I mean, I do a pretty good job with food, I think. Something that was really fun once I moved out was figuring out like how to like really cook and stuff like that, because I've always been a little bit embarrassed to cook in front of my family, and they kind of have high standards a little bit. My grandmother used to cook a lot for us, and so, compare me to my grandmother, I look like a little baby, physically and mentally, and in the cooking department too. But most of my meals really is just chicken and rice with like different kinds of like flavor for chicken rice. Sometimes I'll have like lemon and garlic, or other times I'll have like dashi soyu, or sometimes I'll have like sesame and ginger. And it's a lot of fun. I try really hard to do a good job with having a good vegetables and carbs and protein. And if you haven't been eating well, you should be eating well. Whether that be just another one of you guys who are following my little ramble vlogs, or if it's me from the future, you gotta eat like real food. And I hope I'm taking care of myself. I should take care of myself. The whole point of everything is to thrive and do better, and it's okay. It's okay to have some hard times and not be able to, go straight all the time, but as long as we're going the right direction. Yeah. I don't really have much to talk about. I feel like I had a topic, but I completely forgot what it was. I don't do these with a script. I just kind of like rip it. Sort of the nature of these videos, I guess. Thank you for coming again. I hope to see you again. And if it's me from the future, I hope you're doing good and taking care of yourself and other stuff.